bring you the best that we can. Okay, we're in there. Welcome everybody. We're here now on Instagram, Facebook Live, and we're on YouTube Live. I have the wonderful Carolyn Gento is with me here today, and
Hello.
it's always great to. You want to go ahead and greet your followers?
Hey, followers. No. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Hello. If
Hey,
you're
Divine.
listening and listening to the replays right now, just drop hashtag replay in the chat or it'd be in the comments because, they're not here right now, but they'll be watching the replays. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Dr. Zarif, how are you?
Yo, I'm ready to talk about this stuff because this really goes by fast. So we'd like to ask everybody that's in with us now here on Instagram and live, um, YouTube live, and along with Facebook live to spread the news. Let everybody know that we're on the air right now, and we'd love for you to be here to partake in our subject, taking responsibility for your health. Now we've talked about many of these things before, like in the topics, know your numbers. You remember that, Carolyn?
I do.
Uh, Medical terminology, proactive health care, and self care. We've covered the ground pretty well, but we need to go over these things and over these things because unless they become a habit, they're not going to fly. It means that they're just going to be put back on the shelf, and then we'll be talking about this next year, this time. And that's not how we're living. We don't want to do that. We want to act on it and make use of what we learn. So we start off with uh, the most important thing when it comes to our health, when it comes to understanding what we or how we're living and how to align ourselves with the food, our rest, our prayer, religion, our relationships. All of those things is what we work on. These are those things that we work on constantly to have what we know is balance. And once we get that, we enjoy. The more balanced we are, the more enjoyment we have. The more off balance is just like anything else. It's just like a car that isn't tuned. A car's motor will cause it to sputter and make noise and run raggedy. And we are the same. We do the same thing when we don't take care of ourselves. Now, we talk about brothers and sisters. We talk about especially the um, black folks, our own people, because we need it most. Not black, but folks, our own people, because we're black. We got to have more than that happen. We've been black for years, and we haven't been aware to take these different challenges uh, right out before us, take them apart to cancel these beliefs and to cancel the sickness and all the other side effects from not reading into things more, learning more, and spreading the news about how we can better ourselves and therefore we can also better our own people. This is a really wonderful time to talk about this today because we have the different holidays coming up. It's the big three, and when we have the holidays coming up, we have a lot of eating going on. So in a lot of this, the eating, we're going to be eating birds and you know everything, name it.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that we want to do here, we want to make sure that we give ourselves just a chance. You're not here to recruit you or it's all on to you. My assignment is to be here to inform you so that you'll make informed decisions. Now, The hard thing here, as far as nutrition goes, as most of you know, it's very difficult to talk about nutrition and keep your attention on nutrition. I want to challenge everybody just to pay attention. Put down your cell phone. Now, if you're eating and all that stuff, go ahead, get all that stuff out of the way so that you can pay attention, because that's what happens. Many people don't have the patience to pay attention. They can't wait to go, what else is going on? What else is going on? Because we've been taught over the years to negate ourselves, so we do other stuff. We're distracted. And have you ever, for instance, you met a person and then about 3 seconds later, you forgot the guy's name, and it's something as simple as Tom?
Oh, yes.
It's like, what is that? That's distraction. And we want you to really, really not to think about who's here and who isn't here and all that. Concentrate on you. And those of you that are coming back to listen to the playback, this is really important. Really take your mind and focus on what is going on right before you. Don't let your mind go everywhere and you miss this opportunity to again unleash some of the wonderful jewels that you're learning and those that you already know. The most important rule is to know your history. And is to know the history of the drugs that if you're on any medication, this is really important. They're called electronic medical records, or you will hear doctors or your team will say the EMRs, and the EMRs are too inefficient to depend on, because they're different according to the institution that they come from. So this is a beginning. Today, I want you to just listen in so that you'll extrapolate from what we're sharing today and use it to better you and your family's health. Now,
All right, Dr. Zarif jumped off. I think you may have be having some issues with your internet. I don't see you here. Let's see here. For anyone that's joining, thank you so much. We are having difficulties, but Dr. Zarif will be back shortly. I see you. You're
almost back
there on the screen. Okay.
Good. Okay. All right. What's going on?
Keep dropping from the stage.
Okay. All right. So we're back. We're talking about the things that we really have to pay attention to. And the things that we're paying attention to is to learn how to pay attention, learn how to focus. And while you're focusing, know that this is worth your time. Every moment is worth your time. Now, we're up against everybody that's talking about all these things that don't even concern them, or if you talk about, as I was talking to Carolyn earlier, we were talking about how this young lady, she was, for the most part, sexy, meaning she had a little shiny lips and she had a little shiny hair and she had a little shiny nails and all of that. She wasn't doing anything but showing up. All she did is show up. She was talking, I don't know how to work this. What are you guys doing? I don't know. This girl had over 100,000 views.
Oh, you're talking about the person that was on the live?
Yes.
Doing a live, right? Okay. Yeah.
She was doing a live and this is my first time. I don't know which way to go. She had over 100,000 views just saying hi. So what's happening? And then some guy, a writer, yeah, you look good, baby. Oh, thank you so much, Gerald. And it's like you can get over 100,000 views on that type of nonsense. But when it comes to doing something like taking care of yourself, it's like, okay, now let's pay attention to what is really important, what really counts. And now the trick is, how can I do this without sounding like I'm preaching? Because I definitely don't want to do that. You know, the finger in your face type thing. That ain't that this that's not what we're about. That's not what I'm about. I want you to understand the things that you can do to make better choices, because I do declare that we are and have been nutritionally illiterate, meaning that we don't know nutrition the way that we could know it in order for it to work for us, to make us a more informed person. So it's very, very important that you take your time for yourself, for yourself. Getting a show together just so we can present it, a lot of things go into place for that. We're not just here just to talk, but we're here eventually. We'll be doing the things that, you know, a lot of other people are doing, you know, as far as introducing you to our merch, and we want you to enjoy it and spread the word and all that. But for over nearly now 2 years, we've been coming to you with information that will help you to grow. Now we know that every time we get one person up there, we see that number 1 or 2 or 3. Oh man, this is exciting, because we have people that are taking time to listen, taking time for themselves. And that's what it's all about. We want you to take more time for yourself. And that's why we entitled this Taking Responsibility for Your Health. Okay, so let's start off. We talked about the EMRs. And again, the EMRs are electrical medical records. And the EMRs are very important. And later on, I'm going to talk to you about the metas. Now, this is the EMRs, but I'm talking about to you about metas later on. And that will help explain why we are where we are and why we're doing what we're doing. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and start up with some information that you can use. And these are some of the things that you can actually do in order for you to better your condition, to better choose the things that make your life full, and the things that will help you to be a responsible individual for your health. Now, I'm going to start off with a list of chronic health conditions. One of the things that you can do in learning more about yourself, learning more about your the things that you can do to have a better relationship with your food, a better relationship with exercise, a better relationship with sleep and rest, a better relationship with vacationing, a better relationship with visiting, a better relationship with your families. All of these are different cues that there's room to grow. So that's what we're going to talk about. I want to start off with the list of chronic health conditions. If you have any chronic health conditions, and that's the conditions like diabetes or atherosclerosis or high blood pressure or fibrosis, whatever it is that you have, you want to make sure that you have a list of these. And you should also start building your team. And you'll see what I mean as we go along with this. This is what it include the conditions you currently see a doctor for also. Like if you're going to your doctor because you're having some kind of digestive disorder, or you're having something that is problematic, well, this is important to make sure that you write these things down too. Bonus points if you include the year the condition was started. So the history of what you have been facing. So if you've been sick, and that's what a lot of people go into today, they don't take care of their present sickness. What they do is they actually take that sickness and they spread it on and spread it out. Spread it on is like if it's contagious, or spread it out is to elongate it. And then they've been dealing with it for years, they'll tell you. So let's see if we can get beyond some of this stuff, okay? So you can also include some of the major problematic symptoms that you've had over the years and over time. Now, electronic medical records often they generate a list of conditions automatically, but these tend to be too long and they're unwilding or unwildly. They clutter, the page up with all of these different symbols and diagnosis. And this is what you want to do. You want to make sure that you have a very clear understanding of what you have, what you're facing, what you're going through, so that it is no surprise to you, not only after the fact, but you want to be proactive so that you don't have to face those kinds of ailments as you continue to live in your moment. The medication list would be next. The medication list is to list all of your prescriptions, list everything, not list the things that you are taking. For instance, like the different pills, the dosage that you're taking. If you're taking whatever it is, let's say Flomax, and you're taking 200 milligrams, you want to write Flomax 200 milligrams, and you want to also take how it was prescribed to you. Like, for instance, if the doctor said take 2 times per day for 30 days, whatever that is, you want to write that down so that you will have tools when you go to the doctor. If you're going to the doctor and you don't have tools, then you're not helping at all. You need to be involved with your health. Just don't show up and from the your memory, or maybe you've been hurt and you say something in general, and the doctor is saying, well, that's like saying, hey, doc, I'm broke. Now, what do you mean broke? You don't have a lot of money, or you mean broke that you need to be fixed? Well, what does that mean? So, when we're talking about working with the doctor, we want the doctor to work with us. We want to work together. So remember, every time that you go into a doctor's office, you are an integral part of that meeting with the doctor. You do mean a lot to the beauty that's about to transpire in meeting your doctor, to dispel or to tell or to share what you have been facing. You got some little marks on your skin and you don't know what that is. This is the time you write all of those things down. But getting back to the specific medication list, is very important that you write everything down. Let's give you some specificity here. Highlight any new or recently started new medications. Any new or recently started medications, that's very important, because when you give that list, she or he will have something to work from. The second thing is that you want to list any recently stopped or discontinued, any that you've stopped. You were taking a medication and you stopped using it. You want to write that down. At least cover the last 6 months. The last 6 months, you want to write that down. Okay. And then you want to also list any medications that you believe that have been problematic. Now, sometimes you take certain medication and then you're sleepy, or you're cranky, or you're weak, or you're jittery, some kind of side effect. So if you have that, you also list that so that your doctor can share that also. Okay. And this is the beginning of you taking care of yourself and taking the responsibility to take care of yourself. You got a world surrounding you where most people do not take care of themselves. The world around you also is populated with people that are interested in other things other than themselves in the way of taking care of themselves. Now, when it comes to putting on some nice clothes and dressing up, oh man, we'll meet you at the joint. But if it's just talking about taking care of your heart and your brain, your hearing, your vision, taking care of your voice or your digestive system and so forth, then we got a long ways to go. And if you are thinking to yourself, the brother's right, the brother's right. Well, stay with me. Let's go ahead. Let's work through this because there's so much to learn. After you get your medication list together and the list of your chronic conditions, your chronic illness conditions, you're going to write all those things down so that you'll have a copy of that. Now, it'll be good at this time for me to say, where are you going to put this stuff? Make sure that you're carrying it with you on your phone, or you're able to access it on the computer, or you have a team that you're sending it to, or you have your PCP that you can send it to, his or her assistant, or whatever it is, but have somewhere an outlet for that so that you can share this information with people that care about you and people that you care about. The next would be laboratory results. Now, these laboratory results most commonly are results from like your blood test, like a CBC, for instance. So if you talk about a CBC, so these are some things you can add to your list. A CBC simply means a complete blood count. So this is when you see some of those a long list of things, and these things that I'm talking about would be what they found in the blood during that test. And many of us, because we don't test the blood, we don't even want to know. We are so jacked up that we don't even want to know what's happening with us. We don't want to take our time to find out what's happening with us, because if it's something that's bad, you feel like, oh, it's the end of the world. But guess what? The earlier you get your examination, the faster the doctors can work on it. So if someone comes to my office and they're not prepared with what is going on with them, it makes it harder for me to work with them, because now I got to figure out, put two and two together, and it might be this or it may not be this. But in rare cases, you can see what's going on with the person, and you can go ahead and work from there. But don't you want a person to be specific about your body, specific about the diagnosis? There are what are called false positives, and this is when you think is one thing and is actually another, usually on the behalf of the doctor. So keep those things in mind. Let's go back to the specific test. Complete blood count is a CBC. Let's go to the next one. The electrolyte panel. Now, this is really important. A lot of people don't get this. This is the panel that is taken that includes sodium and potassium, and includes the carbon dioxide, and it includes chloride and others. Now, when you're taking the electrolyte panel, you will get an idea of what's happening with you minerally and some of the trace minerals. And these are the things that are very integral to our growth and our health, but we don't talk about it much. And that's like your copper, your zinc, your potassium, your sodium. And so all of those things are very, very important to the balancing of that human body that you're in. So those of you that haven't gotten these things yet, remember the complete blood count. You want to get an electrolyte panel. You also want to get a renal panel. Remember these, or come back here after we finish and the replays, and write these things down. It's good to write them down right now, save you some time. So we talked about the complete blood count, the CBC, the electrolyte panel, that include the potassium, the chloride, the carbon dioxide, sodium, and now the renal panel. Renal panel is very important. It includes creatinine and blood urea. Now, when you see this on your CBC, it's going to read blood urea nitrogen. Now, blood urea nitrogen is represented by BUN. And this is one of the questions that most people that had a CBC, they don't know what they're looking at. It's like, what does BUN mean? Blood urea nitrogen. So when your blood is tested, your blood is broken down into different components, and these components are then defined by the test to give you an idea of how healthy or how unhealthy your blood is. Next is thyroid function. The thyroid function test is thyroid stimulation or thyroid stimulating hormone. You usually will hear TSH, and TSH stands for the thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. And then you also have what is called free thyroxine. Now, free thyroxine is what the later on we'll talk about your thyroid a little bit, so we can get into the thyroid. Is very, very important to know the different levels, and the free thyroid or free thyroxine, which is also called FT4. You will hear both of those when you're concerned with your thyroid, TSH and FT4. Now, the other thing that you need to get as far as the test is concerned, test your urine. Urine analysis is so important so that doctors can say, I see what's going on here. You might have a polyuria, or at night you might have nocturia, and this is when you're urinating constantly and frequently. Okay, so there, keep all those things in mind. All these are very, very helpful. Do bring any of your lab results that you have when you go into your doctor. It's useful for the doctors to see in order what other doctors have ordered, and what other doctors have checked, so they can collaborate, and you can do the best work by helping doctors to help you. And also bring the results from different dates, if at all possible. Your lab results are much more useful when a trend or a context can be evaluated. Now, in many cases, comparing the latest results to previous results is extremely useful. So you can find out, is something increasing? For instance, if you have tumors, are they getting larger? Did you have any that got smaller? And in shrinkages, if you ever had tumors, or you've had any like a fibroid, or any type of tissue that can enlarge or shrink, you want to know the activity, because this will give you an indication that you are eating the right foods that will help that situation, resting enough, making sure you have education enough, and that your environment is one of those healthy environments. So an environment, everybody, isn't just like in a house, or the environment can be outside. It can be, for instance, if you set the kind of beautiful relationships with your family, where you're visiting them, or you see them periodically, or you go out, you meet places and all that, that's a sign of a healthy family. So being around that healthy family helps you to grow and be healthy. Socialization is a huge part of those people that are in the blue zone, the centarians and the octogenarians. These are very people that have lived a long time, but they're singing together, They have their families where they meet and they hold the children up and they play with the new members of their family, and they meet the new people to the potential, like those who are going to marry into the family. These are wonderful ways and wonderful points to keep in mind when it comes to a healthy you. So we're going to stop here so that we can reset the room. And Carolyn, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Zarif. Great information. Thank you for everyone that's joining us. You are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. And today's topic is taking personal responsibility for your health. For anyone that's in the live right now, if you can share the live, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. Would really appreciate it. And likes, if we can get likes in the chat or actually in the live as well, that would be great. That helps to get other people in the room as well. YouTube lets us know, or we're telling YouTube, hey, we like what's going on here, so continue to share. So that's what those things mean, liking and sharing the content and the information that Dr. Zarif is sharing with us. So thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Great information. I see James Norman in the chat saying, awesome content, Dr. Farid. Please continue to share this knowledge. Absolutely. Dr. Zarif?
Yeah. Is that, did you finish there or?
I am. I'm just going through the comments right now.
You got me off guard there, sister.
I'm sorry.
But I just wanted to say hello to Michelle, and want to say hello to James, and I want to say hello to Devana. And I really want to people to get this information, because this is something that will better you as an individual. And we know we don't have music playing in the background and somebody dancing on a pole or something to keep people's attention. This is just this is the way it is. We need to really catch up and remember, again, we talk about nutrition literacy, and that's why this is so very important. Okay, we're at the halfway mark, a little bit over the halfway mark, and we're going to go back. Carolyn, did you want to say anything else before we move on?
Well, I mean, not to throw you off or do anything different from what you have planned, but I do have some questions for you. And I think it would be a great time now for me to go ahead and ask those questions, because Dr. Zarif, you've been doing this. And when I say this, I'm talking about educating, teaching us about health for a very long time. I put very on there like it's been so long, but it has been. You've been
years.
Yes, you've been dedicating yourself to just teaching us and making us better people for ourselves. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions so we can just get to know you more, get to find out about your mission and how we can help with that. So if you don't mind, I have a few questions to ask you.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. Thank you.
All right. So my first question is, what is the purpose or the mission of the Mind of Nature?
Well, the Mind of Nature is specifically set up so that we can increase nutrition literacy, period. And I say this representing other people that agree with me, that Black people are illiterate when it comes to nutrition on the whole. I'm talking about general. We have many of our beliefs, the religions have taken a priority over the facts, the science of what we eat. Some people, for instance, will just have food. They can be looking at something that they know may hurt them, but they'll say a prayer, for instance, or a blessing and say, it's not going to hurt me. Well, I love religion in that what it does, and it keeps us balanced. I think that it Without it, it would be anarchy. I think that we need it. It has a place for it. But I think that the balance is what we need. We need to understand that knowledge and acting on that knowledge and understanding facts and understanding that facts change and principles don't. And what are those principles? All of that has to go along with our mission. And our mission, again, is to increase literacy, to open people's eyes to better selections for themselves and for their children. I have a niece and a nephew that I love to the moon and back, and they are growing up to be healthy. And I look at them every time I see them, and just like I'm just like have my fingers crossed, like what else, but making sure that they eat the right foods, and they're eating healthy, because I'm not around them 24 hours, and none of us are. They go and play with friends, visit, and all that. But we need to have a more conscientious surroundings or environment around those children, so that we can bring them up making better choices. There's no reason in the world for us to still be eating like slaves in this 2023. And again, we have been in this situation for so long that it sounds strange, and people want to put them up, put the dukes up when you start talking about that, because it's something that offends them. People become offended about talking about their food. Man, eat what I want to eat. That's the only freedom I have. That's a poor understanding about the meaning of food and the utilization of it. So there it is. That's my mission.
Great. I mean, and we always say, and I always say, when we're closing out, that the mission is to bring awareness, listening to feedback, and now it's time to take action. So I just feel that whenever I'm sitting down in anything, really, any kind of educational, like a course or anything like that, my my go-to is to make sure that I'm not only listening and taking notes, but I'm also doing what I need to do to be able to um, fulfill or do that thing that I just learned. Because you have a lot of people who they're gonna sit and take notes, have a notebook filled with notes, and yet you don't do anything with them.
Right.
So the taking action part is the part that really counts, just because that's where you're going to see the difference. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. I have another one here. So what is different about you than some of the past leaders of nutrition, fitness, and health? What's different about you?
Well, I don't come from the angle of my opinion. I come from the angle of the science that has proved what we see. Now, I'm also saying that I know that there are some things that science cannot explain and have not explained. But I do know that if you eat something that is poison, that just because you say a prayer over it is going to relinquish that poison and it's going to be okay. I think that isn't a well-informed decision. If you're eating something that, even if you take a good man and a bad man and they're on a cliff, and they jump off the cliff, both of them are going to have the same results. The good man isn't going to float away, and the bad man is going to sink. And that's the kind of mentality that we've had over the years, that, the good and evil thing. And we need to, I think that is very important to see nutrition for what it is. First of all, you cannot talk about nutrition. You can't talk about nutrition without stepping on people's toes. And I know it. And every week that we're on, every week that we talk about it, every week that we come together, and those people that we constantly thank for being here, we know what we're up against. So if we're definitely, this is definitely an ego buster, because you would think all the time that would go into the study and the research and the time to put it together and waking up early and taking other little film, doing, you know, your little reels and all the things that are comprised in order to bring you this product, us right now. It's a lot of work. And then you look up and then you have like 2 people listening. And then you have maybe sometimes, hey, we got 5, you know, and because we have been damaged and we still damaged when it comes to thinking about ourselves. We got some people that are extraordinary, just like we have, like James Norman, like the Yolanda Rogers, like yourself, Carolyn. You know, like the people, we have people that are really there for us. Michelle is here every weekend. So, you know, like these are people that give us the kind of support that's necessary for us to move forward. And then we have like nurses like Nurse Toy, and we have Nurse Cheryl Lee. These are brilliant nurses, and they take their time to come here, and they take their time to share. So these are really, really important people to that acknowledge the importance of how nutrition works. You can't teach nutrition without talking about psychology. You can't teach nutrition without talking about anatomy. So there's other things, these are other components, but we've been taught little bitty pieces. Like, what's the most common vitamin, for instance? You know, I mean, how is that going to help me to know the most common? But these are the kind of things that have kept us distracted. And we do things like, hey, did you know that this herb does this? That herb does that, little pieces. And the reason I call this little pieces because we've been talking about this stuff for years. And guess what? Right back where we started from in most cases, if you don't keep it up. That's why we started off with the things of being responsible or taking responsibility for your health. Because if you don't have a close relationship with yourself, your attention is going to go somewhere else. For instance, like food would be, for instance, it's good that you like food. Everybody likes to eat. Food is a high. Food will just make your head roll back, and when you finish, you like, just like a drug addict after the bam, oh yeah, you know, like you had some heroin or something. So you have fentanyl and heroin, you have cocaine, you have all of these different types of drugs, and I'm really I know that we're bombarded with all these drugs today. There is a pandemic, but a lot of that, the vulnerable, the propensity, the people that actually potentially that will use these drugs are people that are empty in other sectors of their life. I think we got a little freeze there, Carolyn. Yeah. Oh, you froze for a minute. I didn't know. I didn't know if you were asleep or you were frozen.
Oh no, I'm sure it was not.
Okay.
I'm wide awake.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. Now, the understanding that, again, you know, that's what makes the difference, because I don't look at nutrition as being subjective. I look at nutrition as being objective. And when we talk about eating saturated fats, it's a fact that you will and can suffer potentially atherosclerosis, that you can potentially have a different other vascular diseases, that you could potentially have a stroke, that you could be potentially have an aneurysm. All of these things are possible, but we have so many of us that have turned our attention away from ourselves. I'm no different than anybody else, so I don't want to sound like I'm being sanctimonious. I am attracted to, when I see that stuff that comes on TV, that or the YouTube, and they're talking about. I see them post up a person that I've been listening to as an entertainer. I'm not gonna say names because I ain't gonna get into that stuff, but there are certain people that I look up to and that are very famous, and they'll have the worst stories about them, and you like, what? That's unbelievable. And then click, let me see, and
Yeah.
then we're distracted in that BS. But I don't want to ever take my time talking down about any brothers. And there's some brothers out there that, man, I wouldn't give a second to, because they're that volatile, or they're that toxic, that I don't want anything to do with them. And there's a lot of clowns that I see that are knowledgeable, but they abuse their knowledge. I think there's some great speakers out there, but doing it for what? They do it for themselves. And we got a whole nation that we have to wake up and talk about a subject that most people aren't even interested in. And the subject is yourself. When you get a better relationship with yourself, you're going to get a better relationship with what you put in your mouth, because what you put in your mouth is given the permission by your brain. So all of this stuff is connected. I'm just passionate about that.
Yeah. Yes.
I really feel about it. I mean, that's the way that I feel about it. Go ahead, Kara. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say yes, and that this brings me to my next question. So, do you consider your position in the Black community to be one of a leader, or is it like a collaborative effort
Well,
of the community?
that's a good
Yes.
question. You know what? I really just know that this is a collaborative effort with, there's other men and women like myself that really care about us, that really care about, we're not just all kin by skin. There are people that look just like us that don't want to have any part of us. Our objective or our goal should be not so much about getting everybody and thinking we're going to save everybody. Everybody isn't from the same tribe, but these tribes can come together and work together for a common cause. It's really important that we as people can set up the type of confidence and knowledge that will make people think twice before they do deleterious things, before they act on us in a negative way. I think it's great that we have a few incidents that we can remember, just like the where did that happen? Where the brother swam across he got jumped out the ferry here lately.
I think it was Birmingham. Was it Birmingham?
Birmingham, okay, Alabama. This sounds about right.
I
So
think that's where it was.
okay. Well, that's is so important that we have those kind of stories, because um, it really sends a message that my sister can't be out there by herself and then attacked by a group of people and nobody comes to her rescue. My
Oh
brother
yes, that was
out there.
a proud moment. That was a proud moment.
Yes, that was a proud moment. My brother shouldn't be out there somewhere, and people are more important that they take it so that they can get viewers on their, they take these films more than they are concerned about that brother's health. And we've had a lot of brothers and sisters now starting that they speaking up, they're standing up and standing out, and that's good, because I love to jog by myself sometimes, and I don't want to have to worry about things like the brother, remember in Michigan years ago, that was out walking, and a pickup truck stopped, and these dudes just put him in the noose, and the rest of the story. That's those kind of stories. I don't want to live this life with people that are racist and people that look like me that hate themselves. So
Mhm.
this is why I take time to talk about this, because people that hate themselves, then there's a place for them. The world is big enough for them too. They'll attract what they are. but I'm talking about people that actually love themselves enough that we look out for each other, we work together with one another, and we help each other, we lift each other with the information or the knowledge that we have. Sure, you can come to my office and I can see you then, and I can charge you for that. And I think most doctors on this, when they come here and when they're on other shows and presentations, that it stands for the same. That's what we practice all our lives for. But here's an opportunity to better yourself, and I'm not talking about getting a lot of people here and then say, gotcha, now buy this. I'm talking about people that are worthy of knowing more about themselves. And once you know more about the way that you eat and what you should be choosing to eat, is we're on our way to doing better things, healthier things for ourselves.
Ooh,
I
that was
want to
great.
say hello to the hustler, by the way. The hustler, welcome. Is great to see you here.
Yes, absolutely. When you mentioned someone that looks like you but doesn't love themselves, I thought about Uncle Ruckus. That's the first person that came to mind when I thought about that. But yeah, that's true, and that's great information. Thank you so much. Um, my
Uncle
next,
Ruckus, it is funny. He thinks that he has reverse vitiligo.
right?
That's hilarious. We're talking about Boondocks. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, that is
Yeah,
some funny. That's some funny stuff. But
yeah.
it makes you cringe too. But
Oh yeah, it sure does. It does. Let's just say that. I'm frozen, but I'm gonna still keep going because
all right,
yeah, but I can see you.
all right,
um,
it'll come back.
yes. How important is education in school, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, education to me is always important because we're always learning as we go. We're learning new things, we're growing, we're evolving. Whereas school is an institution that teaches education. So it's school is very important. It's something that is vital to our learning and how to get along with people in the world, but school can get in the way of your education, especially when many of these schools are filled with books that are not accurate. For instance, let's go straight to Black history. These stories, many of the stories like today, a lot of information that we found out by other teachers that we respect. But when you're listening to Egyptology, and when you're listening to how other societies and empires were built, we find out that we're left out of those stories. And as we are left out of those stories, our children don't get the chance to compare what we see and what we hear. They don't also get the chance to feel like, hey, I'm a superhero too, or they don't feel like, oh, I can do that too. I can be a president. I can do. We still, although we have more of us on these different programs, and we got Tyler Perry doing this thing, and we have Oprah doing her thing, they're still rare. That's rare. So we have a lot to really catch up with. Do you know, like, if you take a Forbes list and you have the white companies on one side and they're numbered from 1 to 100, and you have the black side that's numbered from 1 to 100, and then you put, these are the highest ranking companies when it comes to money. They take in the most money. Do you know that our their number one is equivalent to our number 50? So
Right.
where their list starts at number one, that's number 50 See, there's a real big imbalance there where they've had a head start and they should be out there in front because they've stolen so much from us and they continue to take from us. Racism isn't gone anywhere. It's still as thick as your behind. It no anyway, they is really it's out there. That's what I mean by that. It's really out there, and it's really something that we need to pay attention to because we get too comfortable too often, and then we compete too. Now, I want to say that I know this is like a caveat, but let's stop competing and be more creative, working together. You know, like a person that maybe a cosmetologist can also team up with a nutritionist, and they can talk about how beautiful skin can be if you take care of your skin. That's so there's an idea there. There's other people. There might be a guy in construction that can come together with a handyman, and they can bring their skill sets together to help us grow. There's many ways to help us grow, and mine just so happened to be nutrition. I think that we're nutritionally illiterate, and we have many people that have the opportunity to speak as I do, that are continuing to spread superannuated information. And to make myself clear, that means outdated, old fashioned. And we don't live like we live today. We have a whole nother way of living. We don't sit at the table, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, we stay up late. We play on, we have games in front of us all day long. We have, there's a whole nother way of living. So we need to address that so that we'll be up to date with our choices today.
Absolutely. When you said stop competing and let's work together, that's something that I never, I can never understand, in the Black community, because it's almost as if we're saying there's no room for anyone else, or there's only room for one person at a time. And I just always felt like wow, that just keeps us down and keeps us from progressing, because working together really is the best way for us to continue to build and to become even more powerful when we're working together. But I don't know, for some reason we're still not there yet, and we're getting there, but we still have some definitely some work to do when it comes to not feeling like if one person has that the stage, that it can't be shared with someone else. It's like feeling like someone has to be bumped off just so another person can be on the stage, when it's like, no, there's enough room for all of us. So thank you so much for that.
Thank
Now,
you, Carolyn. I just wanted to get in here and just say that James Norman just wrote this. This is a great point. Most people will never understand until they get sick. And if God blessed them to see the miracles of real nutrition, he said that he took his blood pressure medicine for 10, now normal. Now he's normal after 2 years on fruit and vegetables. So he's saying that I think he's saying he took this blood pressure medicine for 10 years, and now it's normal after 2 years of fruit and vegetables. So that's a really good report right there, and a wonderful testimonial. And this is James Norman is a great leader. He's my brother. He's a brother that he's so supportive, and that's what we all need. We need a James Norman to be there as a part of our team, because this is what makes me relevant, because no leader is greater than the people that follows them. No teacher is greater than the student. So let's continue to support each other and get the word out. And I know it's hard, but hey, you know what? We're gonna keep going. We've been here. We made up our mind. and I'm blessed with the help of Carolyn assisting me on these shows, and we've done Clubhouse together. We're here doing this together, and Instagram together. So I'm really very, very thankful for that, and thank you, Brother James.
Great. And I'm still frozen, so I can't see the comment. So thank you so much for sharing that and being able to highlight that comment, Dr. Zari.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything?
All right. Well, we
Your
can
hand?
go. Did you have some more to ask, or
I do. I'm probably just going to do maybe a couple more.
don't take your time? Don't rush yourself.
Okay. All right. So, speaking of education, who educates you, or who is your mentor? Who do you go to when you have questions, or, you just want to be on the other side of the classroom, so to speak?
Well, I'm one of those guys that I love the idea or the freedom that we can always go within ourselves and contact our maker. I feel great about that. I feel that I don't understand it clearly because it's not meant to understand. I guess when it's time to understand how to make sense out of life itself, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much to learn, and when it gets down to figuring out God or the creator, the source, it can be quite difficult. It's not as easy as people think it is. But I do, in answering your question, I do take a lot of time to myself just to be still and to think about the direction that I'm going in, to think about my mission, to think about the goals that I've set for myself and set for others, because I help people on a daily basis. And am I doing all that I can do with what I have? And I also take out a lot of times for appreciation. I appreciate what I have, and I think that's a very important part of living, is to appreciate what you've been blessed with, and not just to keep chasing for something. I want another car. I want more clothes. I want more hair. I want more weight. I want to be taller. I want those things. I don't waste my time with that, because I think that we have finite power to do many, many things to enjoy this experience. And part of it is there's a lot of spiritualism when it comes to eating, the things that we eat. And that's why you have many people that when it comes to eating a live animal or a sentient being, they turn off from it because they understand the spiritual part of it. Now, most of eating meat, like people that eat bush meat and raccoons and porcupines and aardvarks and all of these different types of food. Well, this happens all over the world, but many of those people are still in survival mode, just like people here. You have people rolling up to McDonald's in the Bugatti, ordering like a Big Mac, because this way of eating, this cheap food, they're eating foods, the same foods that somebody on crack would eat. They're eating the same foods that somebody that would be living on the streets would eat. Somebody that had to beg for money would eat. It's no different. So that's the way I feel about that.
Okay. So as far as your mentor, you would say that it would be more um, people that you come in contact with, or just learning from other people?
Yeah, I learned from a mentor, Payamba Nwali Mu, which is a great a man that's been in my life ever since I've been a child, since 14 years old. He's a physicist, and along with many other things, and he's taken the place of being he's my brother, he's my mentor, and he's taking a big brother. You know, he's never really act like a father, in that I've always wanted to have a father like that, because the brother is just incredible, brilliant. And that's what I found in a lot of these people that I met. I've met and talked to Dick Gregory, a great mentor. I've talked to Dr. Sabi. Dr. Sabi was actually a great mentor. He took nothing, and made a big deal out of it, and knowing, brought more of us to the attention of herbs, and taking care of ourselves, whether or not you agree with them. And a lot of people say, hey, he didn't go to school. He didn't, like I said, again, a lot of times people let their school get in the way of their education. And this man talked about things that a lot of us haven't even heard of before. So, and then he had other people that he was actually helping, whether he was giving them something to take to help them, or some routine, or whatever it was. Dr. Sabi was effective. And then there's other people who have their own stories. I'm just speaking from what I have observed and known over the years, because we have talked on KGLH here in Los Angeles, and we've been on shows together. And I know that the producers would always want us to, see if we can ram our horns on each other, so that there would be controversy and a build up of being, a little rough with each other. But we never went there. We never went there. We went to the next thing. Same thing with Dr. Phoebe, which is a good. Dr. Matthias Phoebe is the founder of the Phoebe Pouch, and he's a good mentor. I think everybody should have a mentor. I love being around men. Men sharpen men, and it's beautiful. I think that a woman also plays a very important part of our leadership and strength, because for me anyway, like, I love it that a female accentuates my masculinity. So I love female energy. I love a woman that loves being feminine. I love that. That's me. No, I'm all about the rainbow. It's beautiful. It's room for everybody. But for me, I love the femininity of a woman that enjoys the way that she's created. So um that's so yeah, I've learned from those men. I've learned from incredible women, and I continue to use books. I can reach out and kind of get into the minds of those people that have written some incredible books. So all of that is a part of me becoming wiser, and me meeting from Dick Gregory, Stevie Wonder, all of these people. I've had I've been blessed to work with them, and to help them become even more powerful by learning more about what keeps them powerful.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, you mentioned Dick Gregory, um, Dr. Sabi, and even you have Dr. Layla Africa, I believe it is his name.
Right. I never met him. I never met that brother, but he was interesting too. These are guys that didn't do things like through a system, and that's what these educational systems are. There's many educational systems, and uh, some brothers and some sisters, because there was another Queen Atua, or um, the name escapes me now, but There's a lot of leaders that are still in Detroit and Cincinnati, and that are in other parts of the United States. And there's brothers still in Jamaica, brothers that still follow Dr. Sebi, that are still doing things, talking about staying healthy. I've been on shows that people want me to counter those things, but I'm not about that. But I'm not going to ever entertain the masses by bringing another brother down. I don't care what he did. All the stuff that's been done to us, I don't care what he did. I don't really support a lot of the volatile, or I detest a man that puts his hands on a woman. And I also feel sorry for a woman that thinks that she's bad enough to kick a man's behind. But all of the fighting and all that stuff, we've learned that kind of behavior through time that destroys us and separates us. A woman is super powerful. A man is super powerful. We don't both do good by ourselves, but we are great together. So all of this stuff about, I'm a boss bitch, and like you need to boss up, bitch, 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 bitch. This sounds like teenagers that just learned the word bitch and then they're overdoing it. And of course, the N words that people just flies out of people's mouths. They don't understand the thought of having a brother that's hung by his neck while his wife is looking, or looking at his wife get raped or gang raped by some other racists. They don't understand that while they were calling this family like these ends. I don't want to even say it, but these are things that have happened, and these are things that continue to happen. There are so many, just like we're talking about Alabama, the racist people. When things are quiet, you think, oh, United States, ooh, I'm at home, I'm in my environment, but don't relax. You don't have the audacity to relax. You better be about protecting yourself and your family, and doing those things that would increase your knowledge, because that knowledge erases the ignorance. And that's how we do it. We agnotology, which means the absence of knowledge. We need to get beyond agnotology so that we would support each other instead of tear each other down.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Zarif. I do have I have more questions here, but you know what? I want to go ahead and reset. I know I'm still frozen.
That's
But
okay.
yes, I know it gets a little weird with that sometimes, but just want to reset and thank you to everyone who's here right now in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. Today's topic is taking personal responsibility for your health. And right now, we're just getting to know Dr. Zarif a little bit more, just with some questions that I've been asking him. For anyone that's here, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so by hitting the subscribe button. It should be on the right hand side of the screen. And I see that I'm back. So that's good.
Yay.
Yay. Um, so Dr. Zarif, or I'm sorry, let me go ahead and finish what I was saying. Just for anyone here, just please subscribe to the channel. Outside of the live that we do every Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, there's also other educational information on the YouTube channel that I'm sure you would find extremely helpful. Dr. Zarif is always giving out great information about health. He's always making sure that we're up on what's going on in nutrition. And so just please subscribe to the channel and also share the channel as well, because that would really help to build the channel and just to get more people in to be a part of the conversation. So thank you so much for that. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say you're welcome, but you were talking to everybody else.
Oh. And thank you too, Dr. Zarif, for just the information that you're giving us here today. I have because one question, the next question that I have for you is because you mentioned, Dick Gregory, you mentioned Dr. Sabi. It you We mentioned earlier about only one person can be on the stage at a time. So whenever there's anyone that comes along, and I'm not even going to say that's new to it, but maybe new to other people, because you have a Dr. Sabi who a lot of people in the Black community know of. um and anyone that comes along and they're talking about nutrition or anything like that, they say, well, what what are you trying to be like Dr. Sabi, or here someone else comes with this and that. um what would you say would make you different? What is the difference between you and those other people that we know of in that space?
That's a great question. Before I answer it, I want to get a shout out to Sank's House of Design. Thank you for being here. Really good to see you. Um, when it comes to the stages that are there for, like the saying that there's only one leader at a time, I think in the many ways I don't agree with that, because I think that we all can shine. I think there's a place for all of us. I think that we have to find our tribe, what works for us. And you got the tribe of people that like to eat ribs and like to eat pork snout and all of that stuff, and they do that soul food. Let's call them the soul food tribe. And then you have a tribe of people that are vegans. They don't eat any meat and they stand up for animals. You got a tribe that people treat each other with a lot of respect, and they pray 5 times a day. Everybody, there's something for everybody. But I think that the most important thing is that learning how we can live as many people, but looking out for each other at those things that are common. We're not a monolith. You've heard that over and over, that we aren't just one type of people. And like, oh, look, there's you got all kinds of folks when it comes to Black people, especially. We are all over the planet. So if you look for any type of religion, you will find Black people there. You have any type of culture, you'll find Black people there. I don't care how Black it is, you will find Black people there. I don't care how different it is, you will find Black people there. In all the different types of religion, Catholicism, and whether it's Islam or Judaism or whatever it is, Zenduism, Zenism, all of these, you will find Black people there. And we are a very, very multi-dimensional people. So I think that there's room for everybody. And, for those people that think that I'm a person that's taking over Dr. Sabi's place, or I'm competing, that never was the case. Never will be the case, because I see things different than those gentlemen saw them, and we still got along. We still got along. We never went to that nonsense. These were very kind gentlemen, and Dick Gregory called me Doc before I graduated. Because of my mentality. Because every time I would talk to a person, I say, "How you doing? What's going on? Look like you got a little tension in your head, or did you eat yet? Maybe are you hydrated? Have you had something to drink?" And that when I went down that list, I remember Dick Gregory would say, "Go, hey Doc, come here for a minute. Tell her about and whatever that is, So I always felt great about that, and that's when I was on the road with Stevie Wonder. And it's just like, I'm about facts, definitely, but sometimes facts can be just backed up with somebody saying facts, and that's not good enough for me. I want somebody to prove it. Show me proof of that. And when I speak about things that For instance, like, there used to be Pluto, but there isn't Pluto anymore. That was the smallest and coldest planet in our solar system at a time. But now it isn't accepted or looked at or respected as a planet. And that's just the way things are. This is something that has been in books and published for years and years on. And then all of a sudden is what is not, it's not all of a sudden, because they've been studying constantly. The scientists are constantly studying. But I'm saying that the food that you eat, the things that you do, the exercise, the sleep, and all of that stuff, I am different than the rest of these people in this way. And this is how I answer that, is that I am a doctor of nutrition, and I specialize in bariatric nutrition. And doing that, I have helped many people. But the thing that is different and how I've helped them is I've introduced them to what is called the circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm is teaching individuals to eat according to what is happening in that day, that 24 hours. You see, things change. If we eat the same thing every day, but we have different stuff that we're doing every day, it's not the same thing. You see, it's not the same thing. So it's really important that we change with the time, because the time has changed, but we're still eating like in the past. That, they don't make blue jeans the same. They change. Cars don't look the same as they did back then. They've changed. You got cars that don't even need a driver anymore. It has changed. And so why are we still eating food that doesn't work? And the way that we're eating still supports the high levels of, or not, I don't want to say high levels of, but some of the reports and the people that are constantly dying from heart attack and type 2 diabetes, atherosclerosis, heart disease, cancer. All of these people are continue dying. Why? We're eating the same stuff. So why are we doing the same thing and we're eating in the same way and it's killing us? We shouldn't have that big old meal at the end of the day. And when I explain it, people can understand it, right? They're like, right, all of that food at the end of the day, and you go to bed with all that food, you're not going to be able to sleep through. And even if you do sleep through, your heart isn't going to rest like it should, because it's beating faster while it's breaking down the food. You see? So that's what makes me different. It is called the rhythmic ingestion. You can look it up, Google it, rhythmic ingestion. And more information will be out on rhythmic ingestion, because this is the only, right now you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, eat anything you want to, how much you want to, whenever you want, whenever you want to. But what happens is, with that type of behavior where you don't set up any boundaries, do the same thing with something else. For instance, just say that a person can come over your house anytime they want to, take whatever they want to, do whatever they want to. Imagine that. Could you imagine something like that? I bet you, like, oh, that would never go down, right? Well, that's because, everything should have boundaries. And we don't have the boundaries that we're now learning to have when it comes to food.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You are absolutely right. Speak to us about your upbringing. Where were you born?
Detroit, Michigan, where we have Annette Sanks. Hey, wow, man, I haven't seen this sister for 30 years or something. She's here, and she's reminded me that she worked at Mid City Records. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Annette Sanks. Oh man, what a wonderful sister. It was great to see you. Thank you for being here. And please come back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. I'm sorry. I just saw a friend that I haven't. It's really great connecting back with you. Go ahead. Ask that to me again. I'm sorry, Carolyn.
No problem. Speak to us about your upbringing. Where were you born?
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, at Herman Kiefer Hospital, and my mother was a very young woman. My mother's name was Eddie Ruth. She was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. She had her first child when she was 14 years old. She had 9 children, 8 boys and 1 girl. Um, to this day, I have some brothers that have passed, and those brothers have my brothers that have passed. Both of them had AIDS, and they died from AIDS. I also had a cousin that died from AIDS. My mother passed early. She had multiple complications, and she was a sweetheart, real funny, hard-working woman, and she was a young woman that wanted, to be to have ease in her life. She wanted to enjoy. She had the greatest laugh on the planet, and I came from a beautiful family. As we grew older, we grew apart. Everybody started doing different things, and I moved here from Detroit in California. I was hired by Black Bull Productions, which is owned by Stevie Wonder. That's Stevie Wonder's publishing company, and I was hired as a bodyguard. I'm a formal martial artist competitor. I fought full contact of martial arts for years. I was undefeated in Detroit, Michigan, and I was going on to do. I wanted to get into the films and be the next Bruce Lee, and well, that was fun. That was fun. I got Carolyn tells me the story about she and her sister. They took some martial art classes, and what they came away with the martial arts. This is what you do when you attack. They do.
That's block it. You got to be able to block.
Man, that is so funny to me. But yeah, it's really wonderful to be in a place where we can share this knowledge. Now we're getting more and more people to come on and listen and take part of what we're saying today, and we're helping out a lot of people. Many people are saying really wonderful things about they're learning, they're taking things away. Hey, I got to stop. Also, my sister is on here with me. Thank you very much. Michelle Glass Franklin is in the house. Yeah, I just this is a woman I actually love and respect. She is just incredible. Just I don't even know where to start with her. She's great with her family and her family's family, and she loves exercise. We've been knowing each other for forever, and thank you for being here, Shell. That's another shell. We have 2 shelves. We got family is growing. So it's really great. Now shout out to little Kim and little Kenyatta. I'm giving a shout out to them so they can. I love those children. So everybody, let's go back. I love you. I love you. I love you. That's my sister saying, "I love you more."
We have the hustler saying, "I'm one of his martial arts students from back in the 80s on Crenshaw."
Oh my goodness. Hey brother, how you doing? Oh, I didn't know that. I thank you so much, man. I wish you I wondered, do you have any photos? Because I want to I will put those photos up. And I'm speaking to the hustler now. He's one of the people that I had the honor to teach. And we want, if you are, more people that I've taught thousands of people. And even when I was bodyguarding for Stevie Wonder, I was also teaching healthy habits. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this about Stevie Wonder, but he's well versed in herbology. Really, really incredible. He has a lot of knowledge about health. He used to be very, very particular about what he put in his body. Later on, as he got older, things change as they do. But now we prayers are up that he continues to prioritize his health. What a great talent! What a great brother! Love him, love him, love him. Carolyn, back to you.
Absolutely. This is my last question.
All right.
What can we do to give back to you after helping our children, our communities, and ourselves? What can we do to give back to you?
Wow, that's um giving back to me. Like I think, yeah, I'll answer it like this. If, as far as reciprocity is concerned, I would say that I'm all about teaching and taking care of our people. That's so important to me that we look out for each other. I don't think there's anything else that is more important than that today, right now, because I think that we are a great people. We are beautiful people. I think if each one would teach each other the different things, for instance, the respect and having for one another. Like some people may, by listening today, which we have listening to us today, or they listen later on, may hear something that will change the way that they make these different. Some people, for instance, like I said, they're in different tribes, but it doesn't mean, again, that we can't come together. I've said it many times. Some of the people that I have the most objections to, as far as their beliefs and stuff, are some of the people that I respect the most, because they're real with me and I'm real with them, but I don't dislike them. It's all about working together. We all are in a position where, if once a person say, what do you really know? I'm I would really I would really be pushed to say that, most people have the same answer. It's like, we don't really, a lot of us don't know. We believe that we know, but there's a lot of things that we just don't know. But we're learning, we're working together, and together we can be just, remember, we can be great together. Okay. And this is why I love helping people. And I've been doing this for over 40 years now. Over 40 years. See that? I used to think that it's all about the looks, and that's why I'm whoa. Mr. Bell just wrote something here. It says, that's where it all started on 76 in Crenshaw, 1986, when we moved into the neighborhood. I took my son, Larry Franklin Jr., to Z's class. He was 5 at the time, and he's now 42 years old. Z, that's me, taught us so much about health, exercising, and eating correctly. That has never gone away, and we still incorporate it in our daily habits. If I can't exercise and eat right, I can't live. I owe it all to the phenomenal Dr. Z. Whoa, that is beautiful. Oh, there it is. It's up there. See there? I love it. See, I love to have the proof. You see what I mean? I forgot all about that. We can show everybody there. But I'm not making this stuff up. Like you have some these I won't mention what shows, but like people just make up stuff. But thank you, sis. I really appreciate that. That's yeah, Shuby.
Thank you
Shuby
so much.
Shuby is Shell's son, and this brother, he is creative, innovative. I'll just be glad when he gets some of the things that he's designed out. He can, man. I got to get my bags together so that I can get over there and maybe get dressed by the great Shuby Franklin. I want to I want to just remind everybody today that we talked about the things that you can do and be responsible for it. And well, we're live, so I got to interrupt myself here. It says, I was wondering if Pluto isn't a plant, if it isn't a plant anymore. Are those moves still valid? Ah, that's funny. What he's talking about, I used to teach the children the Mercury. I used to teach them the planets, and Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and we used to say Pluto. These were all forms that we knew. And now what he's saying, well, since Pluto is gone now, does it really count? Does those moves really count now? And so, no, just keep doing this one.
That's gonna block it every time.
Yeah, some teachers taught some crap, but we actually taught some things that some people still are doing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, thank you for that. The hustler in the house. I wanted to go back here before I let everybody go. Want to remind you of some things, and since I have your attention now, let's go ahead and do those. Let me see here. I got a lot of things happening. Okay, we got you there. Okay, I'm going to bring this up if I can. Hold on for just a second here. I want to just remind you of some of the things that we talked about today. Some of the things that will help you to be a better assistant and helping the doctors to help you. Some of the things that we talked about here is the list of your chronic health conditions, making sure that if you've been diagnosed with any diseases, when you were first diagnosed with them, you also want to write any notes about how they affect you, the kind of ailments that you have from them. Then you also have a medication list, which you write down everything, your prescription drugs. You also want to write down the non-prescription or the over-the-counter, which is also called OTCs. You want to write that down along with your supplements. So if you're taking vitamins and minerals, if you're taking certain herbs, write all of that down so a doctor will be better help you better. Then you also laboratory results. Remember, we talked about CBCs. CBC is the complete blood count. We talked about the electrolyte panel, which is usually a test for how much sodium, how much potassium, how much chloride, and the carbon dioxide. All of those, that's a report on how much of those particular substances are in your blood. You also need to have a renal test, and the renal test includes your creatinine and your blood urea nitrogen. Remember, that's when you see BUN, bun there. And then your thyroid. Now, some people have thyroid problems, usually in females, but even if you're a male, make sure that you can get this tested also if you're having problems or goiter, or you're having different downsides of infected or injured thyroid. And the tests include things like the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is TSH. And then you also have the FT4, which is a test of your free tyrosine. So is that those things are super important here. Also, you can make a chart or bring in your x-rays and different images from a CT scan, your MRIs, your other x-ray reports. Make sure, or soft tissue examination, so the doctor can look at that and tell you exactly, or they can get an idea of how they can help you more. And then there's other medical diagnostic reports like EKGs, EEGs. There's also pulmonary function tests and categorization or cardiac categorization, biopsies, on and on. Okay, so those are some of the things. Remember, when you go into a emergency room, make sure that you can request what is called an emergency room clinic note. Now, this emergency clinic note, this is a note that is dictated or is typed and is typed or dictated by the emergency room doctor to manage your loved ones or your visit there. So you should have a report. Keep a paper trail. So especially if you're going to the doctor getting checked a lot for whatever, keep a paper trail. Now, that doesn't mean that all doctors are terrible, but you just want to keep a paper trail, because if things don't turn out the way they were expected to turn out, you want to have a paper trail. This is what went down. And now also wanted to share with you the hospital admission and history, the hospital admission history and physical. This is actually documents that it's a note dictated by at the admitting doctor when a person is initially admitted to the hospital. So we want to know what happened when, like, my mom or my dad or somebody you love, you're admitting them to the hospital. Who was there? What position did she play or he play? How long did it take? What did they do? What was explained to you? Keep a paper trail. And then, of course, as it is with the hospital admission, you want to also have the same kind of report when you are discharged. And that's called a hospital discharge summary. So this is the note that's dictating the discharging of the clinician. And that's when a person is discharged from home or rehabilitation to go home or to go to rehabilitation. It depends on what the circumstances are. Lastly, I want to go over a list of involved clinicians. You have your primary care provider. You have your medical specialists, such as your cardiologist, your urologist, and your neurologist. Urologist and neurologist. So it's not the same. Skilled nursing facility doctors, if it's if relevant. For instance, if your Asian parent is currently at a facility, and usually those those ambulatory, or they have non-ambulatory systems where older people can go to, but they also still have some facilities that they call nursing homes. Now, you have to make sure that you look at the history that goes with those homes, because a lot of people have reported derogatory information, negative things coming out of that. So you have to be responsible and do your due diligence and make sure you look at what other people have said about these particular therapists and skilled nursing facilities. So I'll stop right there, everybody. That was fun. We went an hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours now. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to bring it back to Carolyn. We'll go ahead and let Carolyn. But before I go, I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody. We have enjoyed ourselves. Please take these notes and do something with it. And this very, very important. We got a long ways to go. Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Comfortable is the worst enemy of success. Comfortable is the worst enemy of being healthy and wealthy. And don't get comfortable. Okay. So I'm going to leave it off with that. Thank you for being here. We'll be here next Saturday at 8 a.m. Bring somebody with you. All right. Thank you very much. Check me out at the channel here. I'm going to let Carolyn do that. She'll fill you in with all the other stuff. So thank you so much, everybody, and peace and blessings. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. In the Mind of Nature, our mission is to bring awareness, listen to your feedback, and now it's time for you to take action. For anyone, if you're here and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe and also turn your notifications on. As mentioned earlier, we are live every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time, here on the Dr. Farid Zarif YouTube channel. So thank you to everyone that joined us today. If you're on Instagram and you can hear my voice, there's a different experience when you're on YouTube. So I would encourage you to come on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. That's pretty much it. That was a great show. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you, Dr.
Carolyn,
Zari.
Carolyn, excuse me. I'm sorry. Would you tell them about some of the educational films that we have there on YouTube?
Yes, we have. Well, there's one. One is my favorite actually, and that's the recent one that you put up, which was the fear of colonoscopy, because that one's an actual vlog, and it's showing you not getting your colonoscopy, of course, because you couldn't be inside of the room, but you just going through the steps and taking the steps to pick up your medication, and checking in at the clinic, and just preparing really the preparation for your colonoscopy, because I think that's another thing too that separates you from what I've seen on online, is that you have someone sitting there and they're talking to you, but they're not going through the motions and showing you what they're doing. You can have a doctor that's saying, make sure you're eating healthy, and then they're going outside smoking, and they're not living what they're talking about. So
Right.
that was actually one of the latest one of my favorite ones, and that's the colonoscopy. You showing us the journey.
Thank you.
So yeah, and there's just great information on there too, and there's more to come. There's more to come,
Yeah.
so that's why I say make sure to subscribe to the channel and also turn on your notifications, because there will be more videos to come, more educational information for sure.
All right, everybody. Until next time, thank you very much for joining us. And we really love our people, and we will continue to bring to you all that we can to help you make more informed decisions. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.